Boys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be breaking down the essential mindset shift you need to master your nutrition. This mindset shift is really going to help you automate your results because, as we know, to unlock our dream body, to unlock the person we are supposed to be, we have to fuel our bodies. We have to think the right way. And this mindset shift is going to enable you guys to really get results at such a quicker speed because, as you guys can see on my journey, I was reflected on my journey because, everyone's journey is different, and if I could show you how you guys could fast track your growth using me as an example, that's going to really take you guys to the next step. And I want to break down this essential mindset shift that really allowed me to view nutrition a different perspective and to literally get my results, or if I were to go back in time, get my results at such a faster pace. So I'm going to give you this mindset shift. I've broken this video down to, as you guys can see, a 6-step framework. We're going to go by each little section of it and how you guys can enable this growth at such a faster pace. So again, guys, if you haven't been to the channel, if you're new, welcome back. Today, I want to really be breaking down essentially how we're going to go about this effectively, because once we understand the frameworks we need, we could then take imperfect action towards our goals. And taking imperfect action essentially is going to allow us to essentially stimulate this growth at such a faster rate, because we're not going to get analysis paralysis. We're not going to get productive procrastination. We're just going to start and we're going to work towards this goal, which is, again, becoming our best self, to getting that physique we always want, to getting ripped, to getting chiseled, to getting confident, to getting competent, and to being our best self. So again, guys, let's get right into the video. I hope this one is essentially something you guys could really take away and to really implement into your lives to literally get your results, I think, at like 10x the speed. So again, guys, let's get right into it. So the video breakdown, I broke this down to 6 core steps. And as you guys can see right here, I think these 6 steps are really going to go into, the mental framework we need to get these results. Because again, guys, of unlocking my dream body, it's been an interesting ride, to say the least. I was very scrawny, I was insecure, didn't have any confidence, to being on the other side of it now. It's really taught me something, which was, if I was able to improve my mental framework, my mental tenacity going into this, I really think I could have fast-tracked my growth by a couple of years. And I hopefully, after watching this video, you guys are going to get that result as well. So again, I want to talk about 6 core, components, because really reflecting on the journey. I want to talk about perfectionism and consistency, how it's going to enable discipline. We're going to touch into that. We're going to be focusing on long-term and not immediate results. Again, guys, it may seem very simple, but once we understand and really dig beneath these and how to really think about a different perspective, I really think it's going to open a new light for you guys to get these results. Seeing nutrition as fuel and not a restriction. This is a big one. Adopting the 80-20 rule. Building habits, not motivation. This is really key, guys, because if we're still making emotional decision making, it's not going to get us the results we want, because we're going to be inconsistent with it. So we're going to touch on that. Reframing setbacks as learning opportunities. So again, guys, these 6 steps are really going to go and change our mental framework and how we're going to go about these results. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So let's talk about the first one. From perfectionism to consistency. So I think when everyone starts, I'm guilty of this as myself, because I'd be lying if I wasn't. Everyone wants to do stuff the right way. Everyone wants to do their research. Everyone wants to go dig in. It's just like, you always want to do stuff the right way. But to be straightforward and honest with you, is that taking, imperfect action towards your goal with a basic framework in mind is the best way to go about it. Because if you're going to go and research all these details about it, it's going to be really hard to see what happens, because you're not getting any data on yourself. You're not trying it. It's like, think about it this way, guys. It's like researching everything about the gym, how to do a certain movement, instead of going to the gym and actually doing it and then seeing how your body responds, seeing what you actually don't know, then digging on it. Imperfect action towards your goal. You have to be doing it. And the biggest thing about perfectionism is that people are essentially going to not do and just research all the time, or they're going to do something and only wait till they get 100% perfect to then, take the next step. When, in all honesty, just taking imperfect action is going to allow you to essentially get, consistent with it. You're going to see what's not working. You're going to, iterate over time. And over time, essentially, you're going to be more consistent. You're going to develop that discipline, because you're going to know what works. And the biggest thing about how this correlates to essentially nutrition is that you have to shift trying to be perfect with every meal, and instead of just working on the compound effect, consistency. So again, guys, everyone's human. Everyone's gonna have cheat meals. Everyone, essentially, that's how we work. Because if you're making the process so unenjoyable, you're not gonna stick with it long term. It's gonna break. And this ties into nutrition, because the biggest thing I see even on my journey as well, but as other people, is like they don't give themselves cheat meals because they think they have to go all in, and then when you go all in, it's just like this is me. But the problem when you go all in right away, it's like cold turkey and something. Like you just stop and you just go all in something. It's really hard to sustain it because you miss that feeling. What you have to do is inch meal it. Go baby steps into it. Maybe, you're eating crap every single day. Maybe, cut out all the sodas, all the processed foods. That's one step. Maybe you want to switch to whole foods. It's the next step. Maybe the third point, you want to start counting your macros. Maybe the fourth point after that, you want to actually, start tweaking it towards your goal body type. That's inch meal process. But if you cold turkey it and essentially just, I have to eat healthy every single day, it's going to be really hard for you to maintain that. And once you're able to get to a point where you could honestly rely on consistency, that's going to be your best friend because you're going to enjoy the process with it. So stop trying to be perfect every meal. I'm not saying after this video, go and eat cheat meal. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying make it easy on yourself. Make it simple, because as soon as you make it simple, you're going to essentially enjoy the process a lot more. So again, always focus on consistency because consistency enables a compounding effect. Embracing progress, not perfection. This is a big mindset shift I think a lot of people need to have with nutrition, is that in order to get long-term results or long-term success, you have to enjoy the process. And progress, guys, is just trying stuff that works, see if it works with you. If it doesn't, okay, you tried it, you got some data back. But if you're always focused on being perfect, you're just going to take so much time to try to get it perfect for then to maybe it not even work, and then to you start at ground zero and just waste all that time between, when meanwhile you could just try stuff every single day, see what works, fix it, and then finding stuff that works and staying consistent with it, and then applying the compound effect towards it. That's what I mean by that. It's because, again, in the beginning, you're not going to know what's working. You just have to, again, take imperfect action. And the biggest thing I want you guys to take away from this slide right here is that consistency is always going to beat everything else, because the more you can stick with it long term, the more it correlates with their identity. The more it correlates with their identity, the more you can make that identity shift to becoming that person. And essentially, you don't have to think, you just do. And again, guys, the importance of not letting slip-ups derail your nutrition plan. You're going to have a cheat meal. You're going to go off your calories. But the biggest thing with this, guys, is when you do slip up, the next day is so important to get back on track. Because if you miss that next day and you go to 2 days, 2 days stems to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, and you're just giving up at that point. The next day, you have to cut yourself off and get right back on track. It's fine to have a cheat meal, but if you're not going to, correct yourself the next day, it's going to be really hard, because you're just, it's just building more momentum. And, you're just like, what's the point at this point? As soon as you get off track, you have to go 10 times harder the next day or the next meal, whatever it is, to get yourself right back where you need to be. So that's what I mean about consistency over perfectionism. Guys, perfectionism leads to analysis paralysis, which enables you wasting time. Consistency allows you to see what works with you and enables a compound effect, which we know is what works for our lifestyle and what's best for our goals. Focusing on long-term, that's weird, right? Apologies. Yeah, so focusing on long-term and not just immediate results. So when we look at anything we do in regards to fitness, we always want to think long-term. And again, guys, a lot of people could just think like, what am I going to get? How much muscle am I going to pack on the first week or month? Again, that was me. But going through the journey and thinking about it from a different lens is that you want to do stuff that enables sustainability. And the more you could think about long-term sustainability over short-term gratification, the more you're going to win, because guys, insane results stack over time. If you want cool results, sure, you know what I mean? You could be doing this for a month, but imagine what you look like from 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. And it hurts to say that. And I've been a person on the other side of the screen. It's 5, 10 years. Guys, once you do it for so long, it just becomes you, and the results just literally get insane. But you have to stick with it long term. You have to make sure you're hitting the right inputs, which stands for basically our nutrition, and then, of course, the training as well. Embrace gradual improvements instead of instant results. So when we talk about gradual improvements, this kind of really correlates to our nutrition, is that if you know something is not enabling progress towards your goal, you have to stop doing it. You have to see what's working for you. So for an example like this, gradual improvements. Like I said, maybe you're cold turkey and something, you're just going right into it. That's not really an effective way to go about it, because you're going to essentially it's going to break at some point. You're going to get back to your old habits. But a new way you can go about it, say for a diet, it's shit. I mean, right now you're at ground zero and it's shit. Maybe the first thing to do is eliminate sodas, liquid calories, and processed food. Okay. Second thing, Let's look about timestamps about when we eat meals every single day. Okay, that's a good point right there. Third thing, all right, let's look at our macros. What are we actually eating? What's our macro split for the day? Are we eating 60 grams of protein? Are we hitting our body weight? What's that? Next, all right, now let's actually tailor towards our goal. Are we going to try to build muscle, shred fat, do a lean bulk, do a center bulk? What's our goal? Then after that, we can be, okay, now let's tweak our macros, track our progress. Once we do that, then we can actually start building consistency, compound effect, and actually look at gradual improvements. But as you guys can see, that's gradual improvements. We're becoming 1% better over time. Instead of cold turkey in it breaking in the long term, basically short long term, you guys get the point. And then you're starting from zero because you didn't gain the skill sets and information. So always look about gradual improvements because, guys, the compound effects works for everything. Focusing on the bigger picture, which helped me avoid frustration and stay motivated. So, guys, when I was starting out, I just wanted the muscles right away, as everyone does. But once you get to a point, because everyone's journey, guys, what you have to realize is everyone's journey goes like this. Cyclical, goes ups and downs. It's inevitable. It's going to happen like that. But if you could focus on the big picture, those ups and downs are going to teach you so much more about yourself in the process. And you're going to look to that version of you who's down the line. I know for me was, again, just becoming more confident, having the body I want. And once I was able to kind of correlate that vision in mind of what everything's going to essentially do when it pays off when I'm going through the highs and lows, it really gave me the confidence inside that I wanted to stick with it and I wanted to actually, keep on doing it every single day. The long term is always your friend. The compounding effect is always your friend, guys. So let's go to the next one. Seeing nutrition as fuel and not nutrition. Seeing nutrition as fuel and not a restriction. So I stopped seeing healthy eating as a restrictive process, so balance. So when I was first starting, I always thought I could only eat chicken and rice. I could only eat ground beef. I could only eat, I was a pretty picky eater, so those were probably the only healthy things I ate. And I thought those are the only ways I could do my diet. But looking back on it now, there's so many different ways you could do your diet. And the biggest thing I wish I knew earlier was that I wish I made it sustainable towards my lifestyle. I wish I enjoyed my favorite foods and just tailored towards that. Because once I did that, it didn't make it like a checklist. I didn't have to do it because I had to do it. I did it because I enjoyed it. And that's the biggest thing about this process is making sure it's balanced. You're going to, again, maybe have cheat meals, some meals, that's fine. But make sure your core, meals are made up of your favorite foods. Like for me, I love chicken, I love ground beef, I love eggs, I love steak. That's me. But if your sources are not something that you actually enjoy, then don't do it. There's 40,000, I don't know the exact numbers. Don't fact check me on this. There's 40,000 proteins, sources you could have. I don't know. I'm just making up a number. You guys get the point. But, there's so many different ways for your proteins, your carbs, and your fats. Do stuff that you generally enjoy and then intertwine it to your diet. Shifting from a restrictive diet to make informed food choices align with their goals. So this is really the point, and such a point I want to touch on. Couldn't speak for a second. Is that you want to make sure that whatever diet you're doing, you want to essentially allow yourself to again, you can go off track, but when I mean restrictive is that you're only eating these meals every single day because it's the only way you think you can hit your goal when that's not the case. There's so many different variations of your diet that you could use. Just make sure it's whole food based. Make sure it's not processed food and make sure it's stuff you enjoy. Those are the stuff I really actually wish I knew earlier going into the, this process because there's so many ways you can intertwine your diet. It doesn't have to be the same foods. If you enjoy it, that's fine. Like I do. I eat generally the same foods every day, but that works for me. It may not work for you. So do stuff you generally enjoy and it's going to, kind of give you a mindset shift from being so restrictive to it's a puzzle. All you have to do is, move certain pieces around to make sure you hit your goals. Obviously, in the beginning, I think it's really important to stay with consistency. And then once you get the skill sets down, you can then do that because in the beginning, it's all about, really building a strong foundation. But it's up to you on which direction you want to go. And again, all in all, it made eating healthier feel empowering rather than limiting. So actually enjoy the process to keep it short. So look at those frameworks as a way to kind of go about it. And as soon as you kind of think about it as the long-term picture, sustainability, you're doing it because it's not a checklist, but you actually enjoy, it really changes your mindset and how you go about it and how to get the results you want. So adopting the 80-20 rule, guys, this is really important that again, you don't need to essentially eat healthy every single day, every single meal, every single time. You can have your cheat meals. Your mindset shift should be allowing flexibility. So when I was talking about the 80-20 rule, 90-10, whatever you guys want to go, I feel like this is more standard. I do the 90-10, but it's up to you guys. Is that 20% of the time you want to make sure you're doing cheat meals, because essentially what happens when you put the cheat meal in, you get a little reward. It's like, all right, sweet, you know, you get the craving away, and then you want to get right back to work. And it's so important to make sure you get right back to work after that cheat meal, because it's going to make sure that, you know, once you actually get off track, you're going to get more discipline showing up the next day, not letting that, you know, that bad momentum essentially compound. And then, of course, 80% of your diet should be clean and structured, the whole food base, whatever it is. As you can see, I'm a big burger guy. You know, healthy. I love steak. I call it as cheat. You can't even call it as cheat meal. It's so healthy, but you guys get the point. So always adopt like the 80-20, 90-10, 95-5, whatever you guys want to do it. Just make sure that predominantly your diet is based off structure. It's clean, it's whole food based, and it's allowing you to get the results you want. Because once you can think your nutrition is something that you do and you don't think about, it makes it really easy, because it becomes a part of your identity and it becomes simple and it becomes effective. And then the last two actually. So the last two, guys, I really want to touch on is building habits, not motivation. I mentioned this is a really big, important focus, that like shifting my focus from relying on motivation to building like an automatic healthy habits that fit into my lifestyle made the process me. It made it enjoyable, and I actually wanted to wake up and do it, because when you wake up on motivation, guys, motivation wanes. I mean, it's going to come and go. But your habits stick to you every single day. Your goals are something you're going to work towards every single day, regardless of how you feel. You take your emotions out of your decision making. And once you rely on frameworks like that, like eating healthy, journaling, going to the gym, working on your physique, this is stuff you want to work towards every single day, because you're unlocking that inner potential inside you that you know is in you. You just have to unlock it. And that's the, the most important stuff, because you're tailored towards your lifestyle and the identity you want to work towards so bad. And again, guys, this all stems from the importance of setting routines, meal prepping, regular meal timing to remove, the constant willpower of like thinking about how to do stuff. These are some just examples for nutrition, but of course it flows into your training as well. Guys, do stuff that's simple and easy. Create a consistent schedule. Go lift at the same time during the week. Eat the same meals at the same time during the week. If you want to switch out your meals, that's fine, but I recommend getting a structure in place, and it's going to make it easy, simple, and essentially buy back your time. And the biggest thing about, guys, the mindset shift is you need to make it where it's enjoyable. The process has to be enjoyable, because if it's not enjoyable, you're not going to stick with it. The more enjoyable you can make it, the more you're going to stay consistent, the more it's going to enable sustainability, and the more you're going to actually get the results to compound over time. So please look at building your habits over motivation, because your habits are going to stick with you long term. And these are what essentially really take you from decent results to insane results. It's just like, I really use this stuff and it really changed my life, and I want you guys to get the same thing out of this. And lastly, guys, reframing setbacks as learning opportunities. This is probably the most important piece about it, because guys, I failed so many times with my nutrition. Guys, it was so bad. I used to eat McDonald's, Taco Bell every single day. I only used to eat pizza. I didn't even like to eat steak. I only ate chicken growing up, because I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know the mental frameworks around it. And I hope these questions really solve some of the struggles I went through, because once I reframed my mindset, then I was able to really take the next step to unlock my physique, to unlock the confidence inside me, and to unlock the results I always dreamed of. So guys, learning from occasional setbacks, like a missed workout or a cheat meal, as chances to learn and improve. You're always going to be learning and improving about your diet. You're always going to be learning new stuff about your physique and how you go about certain muscle groups, how you go about certain training. It's a journey, guys, that you're supposed to enjoy the journey. But what you shouldn't do is dwell on your mistakes and essentially just quit. You can't lose if you don't quit. So guys, don't worry about this. Everyone is, the biggest thing I've learned again on this journey is using setbacks as an opportunity to learn so much more. Because when you look at it from instead of good or bad, but what can I take away? What were the golden nuggets? How can I expand on the golden nuggets and throw the stuff that didn't work, essentially for me? That's a great way to fast track your growth. And look at the most successful people who have the dream results you want. Everyone fails, but it's how you bounce back. And guys, I wish this is very deceptive, because I wish it showed 1,000 failures, because you're going to go through so much failure. It's just how much you can stay with it and really get the results you want. Again, developing the resilience to get back on track quickly without self-blame or guilt, guys. It's part of the process. You're going to fail. It's how quickly you can bounce back from these failures. So again, guys, I hope this video gave you that essential mindset shift to master your nutrition. I really wish I would watch something like this before I started my journey. I was in my journey, because I really think it'll allow me to see sustainability and longevity and the compounding effect instead of just instant gratification, instant results. So again, if you guys thought any part of this video was helpful, please leave a comment down below, because it really is going to help spread the word to help people become their best self, to essentially give everything they need to be, honestly, like unlock their dream physique, but really, take yourself to heights where you can go in. I really think it stems from this mindset shift, and especially your nutrition when unlocking this physique. Because you could lift, and guys, I'm not neglecting lifting, but your nutrition really makes you think and you feel and to get the results you want. And if you have shitty nutrition, you're not going to get there, because it's literally just going to allow you to, I guess, really like take 2 steps forward to go 4 steps back. It's going to be really hard, and you can't really break the cycle. So thank you guys for watching another video on the channel. I hope I gave you a new perspective. I hope you could take decisive action towards this goal of becoming your best self, to really get the mental tenacity to overcome the nutrition hurdles. And like I said, let's get the results we want. So thank you again, guys, for watching another video. I hope I answered most of your questions, and let's get to work. Cheers.